Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to our subscriber game as we continue round 2 with match 2 with Hindustani Man versus me. And Hindustani Man is in the red here, and as we can see from his deployment, he did bring one siege weapon in the trebuchet. He hid it in a forest, which means he's probably not going to use Flaming Shot, or hopefully he won't. It is raining, so it is wise to not use Flaming Shot to take out towers. He brought a very melee heavy army. So on Yuan Shao here, we have Northern Veteran Spears, 6 unit of them actually. Now these can turtle. So because they can hold the turtle formation, they can actually march up to the gate without any issues. The towers will hit them but do no damage because of the 100% range block chance that they have. And as we can see, are they starting out in turtle formation? They are not. So they will start out by getting shot, unfortunately. Yuan Shao is picked here. Oh, these are in turtle. Are they hidden here? I don't think this one is hidden. This one is, as you can see on the card. This one's not hidden. This one's going to get shot. Yuan Shao is also standing here. He will give his distant courage to his units. He is rank 3. And looking at the other general, Zhuge Liang makes another appearance. And he is going to provide Stifling Deluge again. As well as some range bonus. So there are range units. The range bonus does not extend to trebuchets because this is... Wait. If he uses the non-fire shot, I think he will get boosted. But if he used the fire shot, it will be explosive damage. It will be a different damage categories than the armor piercing. And that one is actually going to not get boosted by Zhuge Liang's Way of the Wind. But either way, it's not going to make a huge impact because the trebuchet is not going to hit any of my units. They're placed in a way where they're safe from trebuchet shots. There are also 2 mounted crossbowmen who will get a nice damage boost under Zhuge Liang with the ability that will try to put some arrows in my man with high armor piercing damage. Perhaps they're here to hunt down generals. That is a possibility as armor piercing damage is pretty decent against generals. Then on the right flank, or his left, my right, we have Guan Yu leading a small unit of heavy spear guards in turtle, which can tank up arrow towers, and then 2 Azure dragons. We've seen them in action from match 1. They have a little bit of range damage, slightly higher in this army setup under Guan Yu, which is quite interesting. But overall, not a lot of armor piercing. We have a lot of armor on most of our units, not a lot of ammo as well. And you can see this is the explosive damage. So this one, if the trebuchet switch to fire, it's not really going to get boosted. It's written here because there is access to Flaming Shot, which is a little bit explosive damage, I guess. But overall, not really worried about their range capabilities. We're just really worried about them in melee combat. They're pretty proficient with high armor. A 10% bonus for all spear units under Guan Yu, I believe, or any champion for that fact. I think they have that on their skill tree. And we're looking at a pretty widespread assault. They're not really focusing on one side. And for that reason, we kept the cavalry in the back in reserve again. And all the units are just well placed and hidden from the enemy shots. I decided to put them in the gates just for fun, but then realized there was an issue, is that they kept the gates open. So we're going to move them back. There's not a lot of enemy range to worry about aside from the trebuchet shots, so we're going to be fine standing right behind here. I was just trying things out since this was still my second match. So it's still a feeling out moment for me as well. So let's see how this battle goes. And you can see that I'm gonna pull them back pretty quickly after just deploying them there for fun. And we're gonna get hit by this trebuchet. The tower is ready shooting because Zhuge Liang's also standing in the open taking fire. He actually lost a little bit of chunk of his health already. And the trebuchets are firing regular shots. They're aiming for the wall. Okay, so they're not going for my towers. They're going to use turtle formation to creep up and just get a gap to fight. This is probably more efficient, considering most of his units can turtle. But for those few who can't, and for the generals, they might be in a lot of trouble. Zhuge Liang has lost about 5-6k of his health for no reason and continue to lose health. That is a bit unfortunate. I think he needed to check whether his units were actually hidden or not. He probably think they are. but they really aren't. And he's also not boosting the range damage, which I can understand. It doesn't really make that much of a difference when hitting walls. Guan Yu is also getting hit. He does have a lot of base health because champions have high resolve. Should have marched the spear guard first, because once the turtle draw the aggro, everyone else will be free from getting shot. I cannot redirect aggro for towers. Towers automatically pick up aggro. So Zhuge Liang's going to get shot this whole time. He is close to dying over here. Now Yuan Shao's doing the job for Zhuge Liang. Sure. And he has switched formations here. He's trying to shoot my units, which is really not going to reward him with much. Well, I have 53% armor against just regular arrow shots with 44 damage. That's really nothing. I think we saw the high damage because he started with this ability. So he got the 50% boost at the very beginning. So now I'm trying to use smokescreen just to pull myself from aggro. He can't see me anymore. He can't shoot me. He has to get closer. And tower's gonna hit him. Over here, also no turtle on these front two units, which I don't understand. Right? You know, if they had been turtling, they would have been safe, but they're not. They're trying to get in this gap. I'm trying to block this, obviously. Now that's broken, this wall can still be hit. I was a little bit concerned. If he aims at this wall, then perhaps the collapse will kill a lot of my units, so I backed off a little just to give a little space in case that happens, and then we'll plug up the hole and we'll be fine. We couldn't really move this unit because he has a threat on this side, which he put into the forest. I pulled the cavalry up, thinking that I can probably dive at Yuan Shao to take away the distant courage. Zhuge Liang's already out of this fight, so without him debuffing, Lu Bu just went in, and I can use my ability to clear out this mess really quickly. We use Dragon's Gaze to freeze them, not only to freeze them, but it also reduces their melee evasion and melee attack rate by 50% each, which makes my units just that much better against them. And we'll quickly kill them off before the turtle units come. We back off, let them keep up the hole. We can also boost our own units' melee evasion by 50% with our Adamant Resolve. Guan Yu is coming. And I'm sending more of my infantry because it seems like they're committed to attacking from one gap. So the Camp Crusher will do pretty well. And I committed both my generals at Guan Yu right away. As you can see, we're whacking at him right now. Lu Bu is dismounted, but that is actually better for killing Guan Yu here. And Guan Yu is going to get slaughtered. 2v1. Lu Bu got distracted by a unit, but if I reselect him onto Guan Yu, we could do it. And give me back my red hair. We're whacking him right now. Got knocked back. Come. Zhang Liao's back. He used his ability, Binding Fury. And I think, looking at the health, I think he missed. Or else it would have been a lot of damage. He also has God of War. The problem with those ability is if I have high evasion with Zhang Liao's booth at 98%, he's not going to hit any of his abilities. They're back to 48. This is his chance. But the problem is he used it when I had it activated. So Zhang Liao protected us from that God of War hit, potentially, and Binding Fury. And now we're able to clear out the rest. Tower's still helping us in the fight. It doesn't matter if he's making these troops essentially unbreakable, but I'm just going to kill them all. We're going to hit the health. I sent out my cavalry to chase away his cavalry after seeing all his units frozen here. He is trying to make a second attempt with a climb. We didn't see this overall, but I responded pretty quickly by sending my camp crushers onto the wall. Climbing walls is not a good idea because you will take a lot of fatigue, and once you do, you lose morale, you lose attack speed. It's not shown, but there's a fatigue penalty for your units if you look automatically fatigued when you climb walls, whereas the rest of the units are all fresh. Alright, we're going to quickly take care of this. I'm not really scared of this trebuchet. I mean, even if he kills a couple of my Protector of Heavens, not a big deal. I want to kill off these cavalry first, and now we're going to clean them up. I'm letting him, boost his unit. It's okay. We're going to murder all of them. And you can see Azure Dragons do not have turtle. Walking up to 3 overlapping towers is just simply suicide. Even if they get up, what can they do? And he's sending his range cavalry to respond to my shock cavalry, which is suicide. Zhang Liao is putting an end to the morale boost over here. Just have to put some damage on him. If he's in melee, He's not giving distant courage anymore. And these units should rout pretty quickly, but they have 17 seconds of unyielding earth. So they're unbreakable for now. But once those 17 seconds are up, as long as we're staying on top of him, we can cancel it. And our tower's helping. You can't maintain turtle if you're in melee. Gotta slam in there. And over here, the units have routed. No big deal. We still have one in reserve that we didn't use. Our cavalry have cleaned up the range cav and now can help us chase down Yuan Shao. Now, I was probably a little bit too careless at this point in terms of how much casualty, because this one's pretty much chalked up as a win for us. So I should have pulled back my units. I did entertain him with a duel, which I thought was good, because now I'm losing a lot of my units to my own tower, which is actually give him points, because for the people who does not beat me, they will count how many of my units they killed. Each one of the regular unit is worth 1 point, or 1 kill. Zhang Liao's worth 30 kills, and Lu Bu's worth 60 kills if he's able to take them out. So right now I'm actually just losing a few units left and right from shots, and we can see the end of this duel actually. As a Sentinel, we have a pretty easy time killing a commander. I think he's about to die with 1 health. There we go. Ooh. And that's gonna do it. So, this battle came down to a couple of things. First, Zhuge Liang was not hidden, so he lost about 75% of his health before the battle even started, and that removed Stifling Deluge from the battle, or else Lu Bu wouldn't have such an easy time clearing out space. The second problem was when Guan Yu came up, I think his plan was to use God of War to kill Lu Bu in 1 shot. But because Zhang Liao could provide not only the Resolve of Righteous boost, but also use his admin, I think it's called admin resolve as well, to boost Lu Bu's evasion to basically 98%. So the chance of me getting hit by anything, including abilities, pretty much nil. And once we dodged that, Guan Yu was ours to kill. Pretty much here. On foot as well, that's actually a boost. We don't have to spend time charging in and out. We can just stand there and whack him. And we got our cavalry out once their infantry committed, and we were able to use Dragon Gaze to freeze them. Killed off 2 of the ranged cavalry that wasn't able to do much, and took out the siege weapon afterward. Even though Yuan Shao is really good at boosting morale, you know, after the units died, he's just a prey to us. And splitting the army, really no point. You should really just focus on 1 attack and open up more wall with the trebuchet before coming to hit units. Although killing these units definitely added a bit of points to him with the casualties, because he did manage to kill off a good chunk of our reserve force here. But opening up a couple different gaps for his unit to flood in, because I only have a limited amount of troops here, instead of letting 1 gap where I can focus everyone to efficiently wipe out his units. Or perhaps trick my units to be here and then hit this wall, collapse it, kill off a lot of my unit. That would have been smart too. You could even kill generals with a collapse. The collapse damage is pretty much infinite. It's an instant kill for any generals nearby. But that obviously didn't happen. And we ended up with a heroic victory. So let's go to the end battle here and take a look at the actual numbers. So looking at things, it's pretty clear. Aside from Guan Yu coming in, killing off a few units, no one really did anything. The trebuchet did the most, killing off a bunch of our reserve unit. That's essentially what this did before getting routed by my cavalry, which went out once again to clean up some of the rear troops once the front line engaged. Yuan Shao couldn't do much except for boost morale, so he is strong, but not in combat. Your troop has to get the job done. So if you pick someone to just boost morale, you pick someone just for stifling a deluge, you end up with only 1 offensive general. And should that general die, the rest of your army quickly falls apart, as I'm able to keep both of my generals. Lu Bu without Stifling Deluge, it's a totally different monster. So the thought process was there, but because misplacement and also very careless in terms of after the combat started, I shot him so much until he pretty much routed away from the towers. He didn't even move him himself. So it's definitely just oversight by Hindustani Man. And splitting your army on 2 flanks does that to you. Your attention span is everywhere except for, where it really needed to be. A simple move on Zhuge Liang would have done it. A bit of impatience. I think perhaps he was practicing thinking the turtle formation would have worked, and it did work. It works when they go in first. If the aggro isn't pulled by them, then the tower will hit your general. So all 3 generals got hit by arrow towers on both sides. Zhuge Liang at the beginning, Yuan Shao when he moved up, Guan Yu when he led his force charging in, even though the spear guard should have been pulling that duty. And you can see the spear guard, even with the turtle formation, didn't do anything. They're very weak. Spear guards, heavy or light versions, don't have much damage. On the wall, after being fatigued climbing up, these units are pretty much useless against camp crushers in tight corners with the melee attack boost on Zhang Liao. So let's quickly do a count of casualties. We have 9 units on the Xiliang Cav. These are 45, so we're at 54. This is at 47, 54, 47. We're at 101. And then this is 23, 124. And there's 9 unit here, 133. So the score for Hindustani Man will be 133. The higher the number, the better. In defeat, and we'll see if we get a few more challengers failing their attempt in this siege, and we'll compare their score as we move forward. So thanks Hindustani Man for playing, and congratulations to me for a heroic victory, and we'll move on to our next match. So until then, bye.